Oh crap! Oh cripes! It's you again. Why are you here to talk? That is not meant to be on screen yet. There you go. There it is. Also, I need to turn copyright music off. Yeah, I think that does include the Christmas music. We're gonna wait for the missions to change. Welcome back, everyone, to Overclock Showcase. Everyone's favourite weapon, the BRT-7 burst fire gun. Don't ask about electromagnets. I don't know. It might be out now. It might not be. It probably isn't. I really hope I get it. I really do hope I get it out before season 6. But I actually don't know. Anyway, so yeah, we are doing Compact Mags. Now that is the silver lining, because I think Compact Mags is the best overclock on this weapon. You might argue that it's lead spray. You're wrong. Not really. Lead spray is actually really good. And experimental rounds is also quite good. And composite casings is also very serviceable. The truth is, the BRT is actually a decent weapon by default. That doesn't change the fact that it's got a really bad overclock selection overall. Mainly because 3 of them are absolute dog shit, and none of them, in general, are particularly interesting. The most interesting one is, of course, the worst one. You know what I'm talking about. And of course, it is gunner, and that's the thing about the coil gun. The coil gun really throws off the idea of gunner secondaries being sidearms, because it's such an all-encompassing tool that can be. It's not that it's necessarily overpowered, but it's pretty ridiculously flexible. Where the BRT and the Bulldog aren't particularly. The BRT is probably the least flexible of the bunch, and I think what Compact Mags does is really just let you settle into that inflexibility and be like, this is just a weapon that does decent damage, and that's it. So we're just going to give you a bunch of ammo. Compact Mags, it gives you 84 max ammo. Actually, hold on, is it percentage based? It might be. It might be percentage based, I'm not sure. Okay, it's not. It's 84 no matter what, which is a lot. It's a lot of ammo. It's almost half the weapon's base ammo. Actually, no, it's more than half. It's almost half of the weapon's total ammo when you also have the ammo upgrade. So it's a lot of ammo. It's a lot of bullets. Sorry, just having some coffee. The penalties are longer delay between bursts means lower rate of fire. So obviously, the burst rate of fire does stay the same, and that is its own stat, by the way. But it's the time between each burst that is changed, and the reload time. These penalties are definitely noticeable, but this I think is a very strong case of tit for tat. I think this is a very good upside with noticeable downsides that do not infringe upon the upside. And to me, even though it's a very simple overclock, it's pretty much perfect in its construction, because it adds something that is a very tangible and useful benefit. It has, I would say, equivalent penalties to account for that, but those penalties steer clear of the positives, right? So there's equal give and take, and they're also not treading on each other's tails, basically. I think sometimes that actually does happen, where it's like, this is actually very strong, but the penalties are, for some reason, penalising this aspect of the weapon specifically anyway. So it's actually it's just a bit counterintuitive. So Compact Mags, yes, very simple, but arguably the perfect overclock in a lot of ways. The perfect simple overclock. And it does give you some flexibility in how you build the weapon. I haven't gone super crazy with the differences between the two, but they're definitely tangible. In fact, I think most of the tiers are different. I think all the tiers are different actually, except tier 1. It's just the end result isn't that different, because that's just kind of what the BRT is like. But yeah, we're going to be starting with this one because this is kind of the more experimental one for me. The second build we're going to be doing is something that's much more tried and true, and it's just sort of part of my general arsenal. Like I said, this is my favourite BRT overclock, so I have a way of using it. This is kind of me breaking out of the way I normally use it. And also doing something similar with my primary as well, because we've got bullet hell in tow, which is not something I normally use. Let's talk about this first. Bullet hell, very decent crowd clearing and crowd control. I think obviously it really comes down to the tier 3. The stun is very good, but I prefer blow through because it does just result in more damage. In the context of this build, the stun would actually be completely appropriate, arguably slightly more, but for me. I've had good experiences with blow through and bullet hell. Damage as well. Ammo probably does make bullet hell a bit more flexible, to be honest, but I don't find it running out of ammo disgustingly quickly when I take damage, and I do notice it more. Same with variable chamber pressure. This is a configuration for the minigun where you will be spending time shooting it, more time you'd probably like shooting it while fully stabilized, just to clear out those hordes. So I find variable chamber pressure to be it's not the only good pick. Lighter barrel assembly will always be very, very good, but I'm just going with damage. Same with hot bullets. It just suits me. I can keep the heat in check. I know that aggressive venting, I know that both of the other tier 5s are probably better for bullet hell, but hot bullets is just a little bit too good. And then accuracy, we don't need to talk about accuracy. The bullet itself, this is basically just turning it into an Uzi. It doesn't really work that way when it comes down to it, because this overclock does reduce its rate of fire, but we're going to be upping that in tier 2. We got damage in tier 1 because it is the most sensible thing. Accuracy would be fine here, but we're not too concerned about accuracy. This is going to be more of a medium to short range weapon anyway in this build. Basically just so you get all of those bullets landing on the same enemy. That's why we have longer burst. And I think longer burst works very well here. We're taking advantage of the big ammo pool, doubling down on the big ammo pool in both cases, the magazine as well. Magazine is actually more essential for the longer burst anyway, because it means your magazine stays intact a lot longer, and when you have a reload speed penalty, I think that actually makes a good deal of sense. Increasing the magazine size, especially if we're increasing the burst size, I think that's just those two things just go together very, like, naturally, I think. But yeah, that's the first build really, and it's time for me to pick a mission. Kind of want some experience. You can see, ooh, I mean, it is actually technically the better of the two builds for elimination, so let's do it, because I need XP. Like, you can see my gunner is level 24. I don't really want to finish this video without him having to gotten to level 25. It would be really annoying. But yeah, neither of these builds are overwhelmingly good for elimination. You'll see the second build and why it would be. The second build uses Minelayer system as the primary, Hurricane with Minelayer system, but I've chosen to use Fire, which is obviously subpar for Dreadnoughts. If I was just using straightforward damage on Minelayer system, it would actually be very good. That is a stronger single target Burt as well. But it's also fine. Bullet hell is decent for Dreadnoughts. It's not particularly lethal, but it does give you some flexibility in how you fight Dreadnoughts, and this thing is just there to ammo dump into them, so it works fine. I've actually done a couple eliminations with this build, so I feel fine about this. But yeah, here we are. We're back. I don't know. It's been a normal amount of time since I last recorded. But I'm trying to picture when this is coming out, and I really am wondering if Season 6 is, like, you know, how in view it is, because I'm going to be honest, I'm really excited about Season 6. I'm genuinely so interested in what Invisible Walls are, like, really cooking, if you know what I mean, because we've seen things, right? We saw what they showed during the live stream, during the On Horizon, but it was kind of more conceptual than anything else. We didn't see anything. Also, the Barbarnacles are going to be a bit of a waste of ammo here, but I do want the XP. But yeah, what we saw was really technically conceptual, even though it was in-game screenshots. We didn't see anything in motion, so we really only have an idea of what they're doing. So when it comes down to how everything actually fits in the game, how the new biome feels, how the new mission feels, how the new enemies feel to fight, how they feel artistically speaking, it's really, I think that stuff is still definitely up in the air. And whether or not it feels like a substantial season, I think it will. I think this is going to trump most seasons. I think this is going to be, in terms of sort of like scope, it's going to be somewhere just below, maybe not just below, maybe noticeably below, but not like detrimentally below Season 1 and 5. I think it's going to be somewhere between Season 1 and 5 and Season 2. So somewhere, Season 1 and 5 are one point, Season 2 is the other. I think it's going to be somewhere in between those two things. So definitely more substantial than Season 3 and 2, but not quite on the level of 1 and 5, I think would be fair to say. Also, this is a meaty mouthful, isn't it? Yeah. What we have here is a BRT that benefits greatly from just, as long as the enemy flesh is exposed, you can just shoot. Unfortunately, how the BRT is, I'm never going to be taking armor breaking, because that competes with ammo or weak point bonus, and I'd rather have one of the other two. But if the armor is down, then we have free reign, basically, especially against Praetorians, because we've been through this before. I'm sure if you've seen any of these, I probably mentioned it in every single video. Praetorians only have a 1 times weak point multiplier, so you only gain more damage if your weapon specifically is doing more damage to weak points. Otherwise, you just do normal base damage. Which, honestly, that is an observation that I'm only making for the first time now. In fact, that's often the case. I often make observations out loud that I haven't made in my head during the recordings, which is fine. It's fine by me. Obviously, I think there's a really sort of kept like sort of undercover plan of this series, in that it should hopefully, even though we're not getting new secondary overclocks in season 6, I think this series will still last until we get them, because I think it's going to be season 7, and I think season 7 it will be this year. A happy new year, by the way. I think it, or at least for me, it's my first time recording in the new year. I think it will. I think season 7 will be in 2026, and I think it will bring new secondary overclocks. I don't think there's much question about that. I think because what they talked about was not necessarily wanting to put full trust in invisible walls as far as like balance and sort of weapon-related features go, because that stuff is a bit more involved in sort of Mike specifically, his sort of vision for the balance of the game, and what weapons need, and what they need maybe even nerfed or changed or stuff like that. So I think once they have a bit of a better pipeline and understanding of how they're going to be working, Jesus Christ, of how they're going to be working alongside the new studio, I think season 7 will have a pretty fair focus on equipment and like balancing and stuff like that. Probably not the overwhelming focus, but maybe more so. Maybe we get sort of new overclocks and like a good balance pass in place of a sort of bigger feature. So I am very much so. I think I am kind of expecting season 7 to be the Glyphid Queen season. I think, only because they've heavily implied that is something that's going to be happening, like within the foreseeable future. If you don't believe me, I can't really point you to like a timestamp or anything, but in the On the Horizon stream, the most recent one, there is a moment where Mike very clearly implies that a Glyphid Queen is like happening. So if you can find that, well, first of all, well done, and second of all, look at that, I overheated. Yeah, bullet hell I do find a little bit strange. I think bullet hell was it suffers a little bit from Hazard 5 Plus, which is fine. Hazard 5 Plus is like a different balancing situation entirely. If this was like normal Hazard 5 enemy count, I don't think there'd be any issues. But we do have more enemies. More enemies, by the way, also in a more specific way actually does mean more veteran variants. So that means more guards, which are actually quite resistant to what bullet hell is doing, because it's sort of, it's low damage per shot that's like, put out very quickly. Anyway, let's get on with this first dreadnought and really show you what this thing can do. Less blabbering about future seasons, which is something that still doesn't feel quite real. Which I think so what's this going to be? Twins? Oh, hi God. I think that feeling, by the way, is actually very apt to be used as a criticism. The fact that getting a new season almost feels like a shocking thing. I think that you could levy that against Ghost Ship as like, you shouldn't really have let this be the way people feel. It shouldn't be a surprise that we're getting a new season soon, as I should say. Not that we're getting one at all, but yeah, that's the only sort of bit of part of it. But I'm very good at staying. I'm very good at observing what a bitter person would take issue with, but not necessarily taking it to heart. I still believe the things that I say. They just don't like affect me in like an overly negative way. I'm able to very much so not even see past. I'm just very good at focusing on the positive. And I think there are a lot of positives to season 6 already. But you saw basically one clip the Hive God's direct health bar. But yeah, this is going to be ammo tight. It was last time I did it. I think that's really just bullet hell in the context of elimination. Bullet hell it is just a bit of an interesting critter, really. Don't ask. The audio doing? Yeah, okay, it's normal. But I do want to see the Sentinels in other places. You know, that would be a really easy thing to do, because I basically so with the season 6 mission, which I am excited about. I know it's a very simple mission, but I'm still excited to just get stuck in and make, because I'm going to like make more, not necessarily elaborate, but more involved videos, I think, on a lot of the season 6 content, like pretty like in-depth walkthrough, probably even sort of tutorial kind of thing for the new mission, that kind of thing. But there's something about it that I think is, I'm talking about what I mentioned a minute ago about the Mike teasing Glyphid Queens, right? Because basically someone asked about it, and he basically just said that's something that you're gonna have to like wait about, right? So that was like the implication. But what we are doing in the new mission, Heavy Excavation, is finding basically big pieces of resonite, but they're described really in the like sort of the post that you can find on the Deep Rock Steam page. They're kind of more so described as amber, like big amber fossils. And I'm not sure if glyphids, I think, yeah, they do mention specifically it will help increase understanding of glyphid evolution. Also, you can see this thing is actually fairly effective against big tanky targets, because you can just output a lot of bullets very quickly, and you have a lot of leeway to do that. Unlike micro flechettes, where you have so much ammo but fuck all damage, you know, to do anything with. But yeah, sort of in that post about season 6, it describes the resonite as something that will help R&D like increase the understanding of glyphid evolution. So I think they are just ancient glyphid queen samples, basically. That in season 7, R&D will like accidentally like wake them up, or maybe even deliberately, but like just without thinking about what the consequences would be, that kind of thing. Very, you know, very Jurassic Park. But what I'm saying, my original point I actually forgot, was that it would be cool to see the Sentinels there. If the assumption is correct, it is like a Glyphid Queen thing. These are basically like ancient royal cocoons that these old Sentinels are still guarding for some reason. And so that's just a way to integrate Sentinels into another part of the game. I don't necessarily mind, I don't like have a problem with the fact that they're relegated to the Hive Guard fight. That's not like this isn't like a serious, like, they should be, you know, they should be findable in another part of the game, but I just think it would be cool, and I think it would make sense as well, because I like the Sentinels, and I think they actually do deserve a bit more presence, basically. But yeah, so there you go, that was, Compact Mags, it's called Compact Mags. Just very solid stuff, really. That's really what it's going to be, so I don't necessarily mind chewing on other sort of discussion material, because this is just a very straightforward and solid overclock. Not going to be loads to say about it specifically. So yeah, let's press on, and I'll see you at the next cocoon, I think. I just heard something horrible in the darkness. I think it might be a bulk detonator. We'll see. Anyway, I just looked at the season 6 thing. In fact, I'm going to show you. Here you go. So yeah, it says R&D expects these fossilized relics may give us a sharper understanding of natural elven hoxies and the evolutionary origins of the glyphids, or selling them on the outer rim mineral market. But yeah, there you go. I just wanted to back up my claims, my lordy claims. There's no way I would ever make any claims about Deep Rock unsubstantiated. Which isn't sarcasm. I like to think that is an unlikely thing to occur. I like to think I have my finger on the pulse enough that anything I say is founded in something that Ghost Ship have said before. It's not always. I know it's not always. I can't have 100% hit rate, but I like to think my finger's pretty on the pulse. Like other things that sort of I've just picked up on that not necessarily everyone has, as far as like something that's actually somewhat exciting, is when Mike said recently that Rogue Core is arguably, or in small part, a testing bed for new Deep Rock weapons. Which I have no problem with the next set of weapons, assuming that happens, being from Rogue Core. Specifically, the idea of invisible walls making them, right? And so it would basically be invisible walls taking Ghost Ship's already sort of fully formed ideas for the weapons, but then they do the heavy lifting in terms of branching out, making the upgrade trees and the overclocks and all that stuff. That would be on invisible walls and not Ghost Ship. I think that would be really interesting, because I do want to see what a new developer can do with Deep Rock across the board. Because I think at the moment it's not 100% clear if the intention is for invisible walls to stay on as the new sort of lead devs for Deep Rock. But I am definitely someone who's leaning towards that being preferable, because it just means they get to split properly. I mean, this is something, by the way, that I will definitely be making like a more intentioned video about. I either close to or after season 6 comes out. I do want to talk about the idea of there being a complete binary split, where it is just Ghost Ship for Rogue Core and Invisible Walls for Deep Rock. Ghost Ship being a guiding hand for Invisible Walls would never change. Twins, yep, that would never change. But it's just whether or not they stay on. I think it's not clear at the moment. I would say, as far as we know, they are staying on as the Deep Rock devs for season 7 and beyond. But it's just not a hard fact yet. That's all. Oh shit. But yeah, I mean, what we have here, by the way, is actually a very good split of what weapon is for what dread, right? Because really should be using the minigun for the arbalest, although he's right there at the moment, so I'm actually going to use the bird on him. Yeah, just because of how the arbalest typically positions itself, the bullet hell minigun is a very good pick, or a very good choice, from what's in our arsenal to use against it. But yeah, as far as I know, the blow through does basically double our damage against single targets, because it goes through and hits the floor and then bounces back into the enemy. I'm pretty sure it works that way. I could be wrong. Lazy maybe would know. Where is he? Thank God season 6 is happening, so Lazy maybe has to make a video. Lukewarm coffee. Awful. awful. I like iced coffee, by the way, so I mean, it's okay. But lukewarm, no. No, sir. No one likes that. Okay, right, okay. I need to be smarter than I'm being here. I need to try and, like, save. Or, well, I need to use my next shield to resupply, really, don't I? Okay. Try and make them heal, I think. There we go. Okay, we're quite well positioned actually to just take them out. There we go. Bullet hell, baby. Can't wait for the bullet hell video. Because, by the way, bullet hell is an overclock that I have given a lot of shit to in the past. And unjustifiably so. I think it can be pretty easily beaten out by a lot of other options on Gunner's primaries, and that includes the minigun itself. But I was still too harsh on it. It's not like it doesn't do its job. It definitely does its job. And it actually has more flexible applications that I think are very nice. I actually think just what we experienced there, it actually having a pretty solid application in boss fights is not something to scoff at. Because obviously you have like certain, well, pretty overpowered AoE options on the other weapons. I think actually the other weapons often do cater to bosses, even when it's like a very AoE focused. Like cluster charges, for example, very good single target damage. I think I'm also more so thinking about the minigun itself, because bullet hell is like just fine. Well, burning hell is better than bullet hell or crowd clearing, but burning hell doesn't really do much against bosses. Okay, great stuff there, Harry. It can be used against them because it actually does still provide a similar benefit, which is you can deal damage from any angle to the dreadnought with it. But I think bullet hell is a little bit more direct in its suitedness to the task. The Burt though, let's talk about the Burt. I think either of the builds that I'm showing this video, in fact most builds with the Burt are going to be serviceable on elimination. As long as you take the right window of opportunity, which is obviously when, you know, the weak point is fully exposed, the Burt's going to do good damage. Really the exception is literally just if you're using micro flechettes or electromagnets. Apart from that, the Burt is pretty solid, and that's why I like Overclock, because it just does decent damage. So I think that basically just adds a lot of ammo without adding penalties that I find. I don't find its penalties particularly punishing. So I mean, obviously I don't like the reload speed one, but the fire rate thing, sometimes it's like, it almost helps me feel a bit more like controlled with how I'm using it. It's not actually a positive. I'm actually trying to spin it to be a positive, but I'm just saying it's really not that bad. So when I sort of put everything together, I'm not that surprised that it's my favourite build Overclock, because it's kind of where you're going to end up if you don't care for lead spray. Because I don't. I actually like experimental rounds more than lead spray, and it's probably definitely worse. But experimental rounds does do, because experimental rounds, that ammo penalty is harsh, and obviously it does less damage than lead spray, and lead spray doesn't have an ammo penalty. It really is just the fact that it maintains the base accuracy, and more than that, can be pushed to be very accurate, unlike lead spray, which is kind of just stuck being inaccurate no matter what you do with it. As you can see, I kind of just wanted to use the BRT a little bit there. But yeah, so, I mean, I sort of like experimental rounds and lead spray, they're almost like a binary sort of concept, where it's like, they're just one of them, you're literally just choosing which version of the high damage overclock you want. It's like, do you want the one that is like still precise, like actually, you know, can actually be used at range, but actually has less damage and ammo? Or do you want the one that does like shitload of damage, but you can't control it at all? Yeah, it's not like I didn't know that could happen. You can still get hit. Anything that can hit you will hit you when you're in a shield. Like, explosions are going to hit you through it. Just the way it is. Right. That scale bramble. Scale bramble? Scale bramble, yeah. I don't know why I got confused there. It's still alive, right? Where is it? Is it still alive? Oh, shit! Shiitake mushrooms. Perfect. But yeah, so seriously though, is that scale bramble still alive? Oh, actually, elf. Shit. Yeah, but I've actually found bullet hell to be like pretty good for scale brambles, especially if any of the nodules are close enough together for bullet hell to hit them, at the same time. The Glyphid Oppressor. The most dangerous of all the Glyphid species. Molly, are you fucking for real? How does this happen?
Molly, over here!
Now I'm gonna get a fucking tree stuck in my path, aren't I? Fuck this guy. Oh look, the tree's stuck in my... Oh my god. Okay, I guess we're not using the BRT against the Oppressor. Sorry guys. Jesus Christ.
Ready to kill some more crates. Feeling much better now.
Hive Guard. Okay, get all three. That's good. That's better. I didn't want the Hive Guard. I just had a feeling it was going to be a repeat. God, I haven't had a random dreadnought spawn in ages. But something you will probably see me do is shoot through the shield phase with the BRT. So when the shield is low enough, I won't finish the shield phase off with the minigun. I'll just go straight through with the burp. And this can get through a phase in less than a clip, by the way, like pretty easily. Oh shit. Those poor swarmers. Yeah, this is where the bullet hell thing isn't as impressive, because it chips away pretty slowly against that shell, to be honest. Didn't need to do that, by the way, but it felt appropriate. Vile disturbance. Anyway, where was I? Shit. Sometimes you just got to do it.
Not ready. There's whack-a-mole.
I think I don't necessarily want to actually break the shell until it's in a good position to just mow it down. So this is kind of where I want to leave it until it stands still.
All clear.
What is Boz? Is he still? He's still going after that damn elf. What the hell? Look at the mess I've made on this fucking terrain. Jesus Christ. You fool. Well, typically I would immediately press the evacuation button, or
Ammo taken.
extraction, that's the word, button. But I do want to get that elf. And Bosco has been led on a merry hunt for it.
Good.
I'm going to go help him. Found him. Right.
Come here. Go Crusher! Elf down! We gotta deposit it to get the performance bonus. Board ready. Transport support.
No.
Hey, you flying tin
Right,
can.
Ronnie, come on, hurry up. Gotta leave.
I need a damn minecart on legs.
And that's another Yuletide decoration secured. Nicely
Okay.
done, team. Performance point bonus.
That's the first compact mags mission of 2.
Your ride home is on the way. Drop pod inbound.
Eh. Right. Good God.
Drop pod has arrived. Retrieving the mule.
This is going to be quite the winding path.
Departing in T-minus 5 minutes.
Don't know where the mule's going. This idiot. Yeah, I haven't actually got to show that so far. You can just one-shot Mactera spawn when you're up close to them. Very, very useful. Oh shit.
I call it my good.
Jesus Christ.
Fall back to the drop. Yeah, give me some sugar.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 4 minutes.
odd. In a lot of context, not every context, but in a lot of contexts, I definitely prefer radioactive Praetorians. Alright.
Secured. Initiating launch sequence.
Easy.
Deep Rock Galactic sanctions.
What the hell?
Drop pod will leave with or without you.
I don't know what he was trying to do.
Good work. We're pulling you back in.
Compact Max. Good stuff. Oh, that was all I needed. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. At least it's done. at least I got there. Okay. Well, like I said, build number 2 is a sort of more tried and true, sort of just part of my repertoire kind of thing.
Excellent performance for Deep Rock Galactic.
I think we're just gonna go straight in. I don't actually intend on completing this assignment, really, but it's fine. I don't need a very complicated mission. Dewey, shut up. But yeah, like I said, it's a very... He's still talking! Jesus Christ. Yeah. This is very straightforward, very high single target damage and controlling single target damage. Controlling single targets. Damage, weak point damage, stun, and recoil dampener. You could go actually for any of the options here in tier 2, but yeah, I don't actually have, like, super strong reasoning, but this is just what happened to feel the best for me over time. Basically, you just pair that with something that's really strong and efficient at crowd clearing. Not even necessarily crowd control, because obviously you can pick out and lock down those single targets, because but it can stun. So I'm not too concerned with like necessarily controlling the hordes here. This thing is just there. This thing is just designed to tear groups of enemies apart. And anything that's sort of like fairly fleshy or fire is good against is also good. Like Spitball and Vector, for example. That's a single target for sure. A high priority target, but my god, does this thing do well against them. So it's very simple to build. Obviously, we have the fire as the main thing. The AoE damage and radius is just maximizing efficiency. You don't want the ammo. Like the radius on this thing is crazy. It's literally a 4.4 meter effect radius because my system doubles it. Once it doubles damage and only add 1 meter. It also have rate of fire and bigger jet engine. Bigger jet engine is pretty much essential because you don't want those rockets not hitting the ground, and you don't need anti-tank missiles. It's not too bad if you're it's not too bad, but I don't care for it. Rate of fire is rate of fire is just basically what lets you do is shoot out 2 rockets with basically 1 trigger pull, which is grunt. That's the grunt rate point. It's just 2 rockets. Also, look at this guy. This guy's so fucking cool. But yeah, like I said, tried and true. I've used this with plenty of different primaries, basically primary configurations. I've probably even used it with Bullet Hell before. But I think this is the one that I usually this has been a pretty mainstay for me. This one, the napalm Minelayer. It's pretty much a fixture of my arsenal. My arsehole. Right, waste not, want not. Don't even need to do secondary objective here, so. But yeah, this is mind their system is something that definitely entails being aware of where enemies are. How many are coming from what direction specifically. But the amount is actually pretty important. Because you need to know how many mines you're going to be putting down. And what for. Right. This idiot doesn't know what he's in for. Yeah, this build just leads to some very simple clean kills as well, which is what I like about it. It lets you what it lets you do is basically take that weak point bonus in that tier, while still having slightly more ammo than the base perk, basically. But it does make me have weird issues with things where it's like I really want to be hitting the weak point. Like that stingtail there, it's like I want to hit the weak point, so I'm not attacking it very aggressively. And this is a very common issue for me. I am not aggressive in like any capacity.
Ain't no hiding from me, bug.
And that's not just about video games, by the way.
Down the hatch.
Yeah, this actually could be a very simple mission.
Weapon ready. Send a pump jack, please.
Request accepted. Stand clear. Pump jack inbound.
You shouldn't use precious minerals. It will get you killed. Let's get the pump jack connected.
I'm kind of anticipating that I probably won't need to cut anything from it. Although it's not quite like point extraction. Point extraction is basically no fat. You could argue that the first like stage of on-site refining is fat, like because not much happens. It's mainly about building pipelines. Anyway, I'm just gonna use my Giga Dwarf instincts to tell like where the other one is. It's over there somewhere, I'm pretty sure. But this one is very simple.
One down, more to go. Yeah, go. Help me build.
And actually, I think I'm comfortable taking this pipeline to the other one we've already found.
But it'll be a beauty once it's complete.
I think it's something I kind of want to do is like mission walkthroughs anyway. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't, because I kind of get tripped up by the idea of like all the different ways a mission could go, and so I don't know how to factor that into like a guide really. And I think I'll just have a headache trying to pick out like good ideas for like beginner like builds for specific missions. I don't think like a beginner anymore, obviously. But what there will be is definitely a lot of, well, maybe not loads of, but definitely some renewed tier lists, which have the higher chance than not of being solo endeavours.
Build it, Bosco.
It's just the way the cookies crumbled.
Down it goes. Pipes up. Flares, not ready yet. Kill or be killed. Raise the pickaxe.
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, I don't think I said it. Sorry, but I think I might be able to take this pipeline to the pump jack or to the well without even having found it.
Never gets old.
Another pump jack connected to the refinery. Just one more to go. Swarm, they're here.
That's all you got in your slippery shit.
Brundle was actually a very annoying enemy for this.
Ready. It's perforation time. Gotta wait for the recharge. Shield. Boy, hate me.
well done, Harry. Jesus Christ. I'm not giving this the build it's what it deserves, really. Oh. And remember, guys, gunner secondaries, they're sidearms. Ooh. No.
Bosco, you on the
I probably do so many things that just seem in complete opposition to how other people play games. Like, most people probably just like, I'll just keep a distance from that enemy until I can kill it. And I'm just like, for some reason, to me, I just don't even think about my proximity to it. I'm not even thinking that it's a good idea to be close to it to kill it. It's just not a... There's so many aspects that just don't register to me as, like, part of... Because I have realised why, how my brain sort of works in relation to video games. And why I'm, like, still not... Okay, I'm actually not bad at it, but... Because I can usually pretty much dominate in quick play, but Marvel Rifles... competitive. And I know what it is. I do not... I have a very slow brain when it comes to, like, thinking through new scenarios, which obviously I know that sounds a bit, maybe a bit redundant to say. What I have realised is that what I'm good at is learning fixed things and basically how to basically prepare myself to have the most predictable experience possible. I do not flourish when I have to apply logic in a matter of seconds, sometimes even less. I do, though, when it is in a manner of when I need to think about the game or any kind of real thing, is when it's a moment that you can also take as a breather as well. I think this is why I'm like so good at things like Hades and RoboQuest, even though they're technically unpredictable because it's a randomized basically game every time you play it. What I do know is what things to look out for and basically how to make a build that I know works in the most scenarios. I'm not actually particularly skilled at those games. I just know what I need to take based on what's being offered to generate a scenario that I can predict and do feel like I have control of. And I think this is why I've never been particularly good at PvP games, because it's like basically the opposite of that. Deep Rock is kind of like the ultimate form of roguelites, though, in that I can basically just create the most controlled circumstance for myself possible before going in. And then the game kind of just has its course, and that's why sometimes I do get thrown off by what the game throws at me, because I'm just not a spontaneous like player, basically. I'm not a gamist in that way. So, that's basically me trying to excuse why I like ever die in this game. I hope that is a sufficient explanation. Alright, let's get this done. Wazzy. going to be more than enough nitro. Right, and it'll probably be done before honestly, probably before I get back to the refinery. Probably. Probably. Ah, very good timing.
All lights read green. Pipelines and pump jacks are all in place.
Come on, let's go. Oh my good. Oh my goodness.
Turn to the refinery and start up the pump sequence. The liquid morkite is being extracted. Refinery and all pump jacks are working at full capacity. Be warned, the noise will draw in the locals, so stay on your toes and do what you can to protect and maintain the equipment. We got company. Incoming swarm approaching you.
Probably a little bit excessive.
Pump sequence at 25%. Liquid morkite is flowing to the refinery like honey. The extraction has stopped. Pipelines need maintaining.
Fun ride! Locked and loaded. No bed ready.
Well done. All pipelines are fixed, and the refinery is purring like a kitten once more. We got bugs? Lots of them.
Boogs.
Pump sequence at 50%.
Life surfing is
Why can't it go faster? Right, there's a menace. God, honestly, I would probably use an armor breaking overclock on the bird. Like, if I could get armor breaking without sacrificing ammo or the weak point bonus, I'd probably take it. Because if it was even an overclock, which means it wouldn't like give any ammo necessarily,
Pump sequence at 75%.
and so I'd still have to take the weak point bonus over the ammo and have like only 120 max ammo. I'd probably still do it because I think having armor breaking on the Burk could be really valuable. It's just not worth. It's not worth the things in its tier. Still, it's really quite annoying.
This pipeline is fixed, but you need to clear
All malfunctions.
in order for the refinery to run.
That guy's quite far away. There we go.
Lift it, menace down!
For me, easy. What do trees on it?
Machinery is running again. Well done. Brace yourselves. There's a big group of incoming enemies.
Aha! Bolt detonator now. You I'm prepared for.
No, there's a recharge.
Skadoosh. Okay, that wasn't my best word. Skadoosh. Okay, that was my best word. Skadoosh. Oh.
killed the loot bug, and I'm not so proud about it. Same way that house villain. Oh, I'm covered in septic crap. Oh, it's so easy.
Death? No. Where's my resupply? What I really was missing from this mission, to be honest, is actually goo bombers. They're quite a good thing. You just the taurine spray, impossible to avoid, straight up. It's ridiculous.
Sending in the drop pod to get you out. Hang tight.
Are you fucking kidding me? And yeah, I did hear that spreader, by the way. That's why I moved.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 3 minutes.
Surfing underground.
Oh wow, look at that. Drop pod cut it off. Okay, well, I can't say that was the best showing of the build that I would consider to be the better one.
Good work.
I hope the first one was a bit more convincing though. This is a very solid overclock. It's probably the most flexible overclock that the BRT has, which is compared to the most flexible overclock on another weapon isn't very. But it is still that. You can push it in some relatively different directions. I think you could even do something that's similar to the first build but with blow through, and that could be an okay sort of like clustered grunt ripper, maybe. But it's a very solid overclock with noticeable downsides, but overall not detrimental ones. You're not losing any ammo, obviously. You're not losing any damage. You're not losing any accuracy. And you're gaining a lot of ammo, which means a lot of total damage. So I think it's just a very solid overclock. It's easy to underestimate, but at the same time, or maybe easy to undervalue, but you probably underestimate, probably not. You probably know what you're getting in for by using it. Just something that's very simple and reliable. But it's good. I'd probably give it like an A tier, to be honest, like a low A, because it's just like that, kind of infallible. It's just not like crazy or anything. That's all. But that's fine. So, that's it for this episode of Overclock Showcase. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this and you want to stay on top of everything to do with Deep Rock and Rogue Core. And also, make sure to click the bell. And as always, thank you to our wonderful one and only member, Box Fox Scoot. And now, ladies and gentlemen, probably just gentlemen, it's time to find out what next week's Overclock is going to be. So, it is going to be for the EPC, which could actually go in a way that I don't mind. I actually think the options here that we've got left are actually very decent. So how I normally do this, and I just realised I didn't do any colour correction on the gameplay footage for this, so it's going to be paler than usual. Oh well, it still looks like Deep Rock. Basically, I number the overclocks from left to right, top to bottom, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've already done MCU and Persistent Plasma PP. So 1 and 3 are off the table, which leaves us with that, apparently. No, it leaves us with the other ones on our Wheel of Fortune. There he is. Paul Kingston Jameson. Okay. And we find out from this wheel what the overclock's going to be. Okay. Number 2. Don't mind if I do. Number 2, if you're paying attention, is of course something I definitely have equipped somewhere. Oh look, that was easy. Heavy hitter, probably the best overclock on the EPC. So that'll be next week. That's an easy one. I think that's going to be pretty easy for me to prepare for. And I'll see you then. Until then, we have to grab our government-mandated compact mag themed drink. Let's be honest, guys. It's audio. Let's be honest.
Please stop vandalizing the decorations.
Yeah, I mean it's a very simple overclock. Do I have okay, good.
Now that
Everything will change the day they finally add Dreadnought.
to those who belong. Yeah.
And I need to piss so unbelievably badly. So once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.